Enthusiasm is not capacity.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
No, it is not. You can you can walk in with all the pre-workout in the world, either actually or mentally, that you're just going to crush your workout, but it's not a sustainable attitude.
Okay, so welcome back to the Ready for More podcast. Strength is for everybody. I'm Edie.
I'm Marc.
All right. Okay, so today we're going to be breaking down why people start too hard and why it backfires. So we're going to give you 3 reasons why that happens. Reason number 1, people start testing as opposed to training.
I've absolutely been guilty of this. So you go into your workout, you have a strength-based program, you want to meet a certain goal, and you always want to work close to the max of what you can do with the belief that in doing so, you're going to progress to the weight you want to get to sooner.
Right. Not taking into account that doing so, you're going to hit a roadblock pretty quickly.
Things that you don't take into account when you start doing this is that your connective tissues adapt slower than your muscles do. So, your muscles might say, okay, we're moving along, but the tendons and ligaments might say, hold on, this is too much, too hard, too soon. We can't keep up with this. And then you start getting little nagging injuries that talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a little more advanced, you have a little more leeway to get away with it. But I mean, if you are a newbie, I really suggest you start slowly, because you don't want to go into that mindset, okay, I want to survive the workout.
Right.
Go into the workout saying, okay, I want to come back next week and the following week and the following week. Don't go in like, I want to just survive the workout. It shouldn't be that way. It's not that serious.
Well, the other way to think about it is, this is a marathon and not a sprint. If you try to sprint towards your goals, you're going to run out of steam. But if you find the right cadence for you to move as quickly as possible, but whilst being able to sustain the effort, you're going to get there as quickly as possible for you, for your capacity, for what you can actually achieve. Not my maximum output in this short burst. Did I reach my goal? No. And now I'm injured on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, go into it slowly. There shouldn't be a rush, not unless you are taking part in some competition. But if you were, you should have had a plan to begin with.
Correct.
Yeah. So, reason number 2, enthusiasm is not capacity.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
No, it is not. You can you can walk in with all the pre-workout in the world, either actually or mentally, that you're just going to crush your workout, but it's not a sustainable attitude. You're going to have highly motivated days. You're going to have slightly less motivated days. And on those less motivated days, you can attribute it to whatever reason you want. My HRV was bad, my sleep was bad, I didn't eat enough. But what can you do and repeat week in, week out? Not on your best moment, a moment in time, like where you hit your peak performance and then try to strive to reach that. What can I do week in, week out, sustaining effort, gaining ground, and working my way towards the goal? I think enthusiasm, it's great, but it can derail you and alter your expectations of what you can sustainably do.
And enthusiasm gets crushed pretty quickly, especially if you start too quickly. So we want to build that capacity, and the capacity is simply something you could sustain. Again, we could sustain it till next week, the week after, throughout time.
I'm going to give you a great example, right? So we talked about this just before the pod. I had a great workout this week. I, had some free time and I hit my workout for my training harder than I have in a long time. Because normally I segment things, but I did everything together. So I was doing very heavy overhead presses, very heavy pistols, very heavy pull-ups, 1 arm, 1 leg push-ups, 40 kilo snatch, whatever. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but there was a lot of heavy training volume in there. And the next day I woke up and I was like, wow, I haven't felt like this in a while, in that my body feels tired. And now I'm experienced enough to know when my body is talking to me that way. I'm also old enough that my body's probably talking louder too. So I took a day off, and then I felt enthusiastic the following day, and I was like, I'm gonna work on my pull-ups again. And you know what? Wouldn't you know it, my pull-ups started falling short, right? So I couldn't get it was supposed to be a 3 pull-up day, couldn't hit them. I know exactly why I couldn't, because for all the enthusiasm that I had, my body wasn't willing to match my enthusiasm.
Exactly, and what did you do? You adjusted, and you didn't do nothing.
Right.
You just adjusted, you dialed down your weight.
Scaled down the intensity.
10-20%, and you kept moving.
But I think the pitfall a younger me would have fallen into is, I need to get this. This is what's on the program. These are my goals. And I'm fired up. I have to fight my way through this. Here's another reason people fall off, and this is legit. We're gonna go a little off script. But reason number 3 is I think people get duped by their, what I call newbie gains. And when you start on a program, especially in the very beginning of your training life, you make jumps quickly. And this can tie into your enthusiasm. You think, hey, I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. And look, my bench press went up 20 pounds, my deadlift went up 50 pounds. This happened in a short amount of time. And then that kind of tapers off, right? You keep at it with the intensity, and then the progress starts tapering off. This is when you need to really be strategic about what you're doing and have a solid program, with some kind of undulating periodization or wave the load, change the loads as you go in intensity, because that's what's gonna get you to break through limits or to make more progress. When people taper off, they start thinking, oh, well, I guess that's it. Or, I'm not doing this well enough, or this isn't for me. All kinds of dialogues happen. But the fact is, you make jumps quickly in the beginning, and then the jumps happen slower and slower.
All right, so what are the fixes? Number 1, so let's look at it like that. Think of week number 1 as a priming week. So you're just gonna stick to the basics. So you're gonna do some sort of knee bend, you're gonna do some sort of hinge, a push, pull, and that is it. You start slow, simple. You're only gonna do 2 working sets, and you're gonna leave about 3 to 4 reps in the tank. What do you think about that?
I'm always leaving something in the tank.
Are we talking about a newbie, like somebody that is not experienced in the gym?
As 2 experienced trainers will tell you, because I know you believe in this too, always leave something in the tank. This notion, especially with strength training, of pushing to failure is detrimental. If you're fighting your way through all the way to crappy movement, while your body remembers that crappy movement. Stop before your movement quality deteriorates.
Yeah, that's why a couple of weeks ago we were talking about going to your workout like practice.
Right.
Yeah, because
it
does remember. So it's gonna remember. So if you did that crappy rep, you were forcing you did that crappy rep. The next time you work out, it's gonna still have sort of that crappy rep in memory.
Right.
So yeah, always leave. Generally in training, you want to leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank, and then if you're going to competition, then you're gonna actually, you're gonna go all out.
Right.
So if you left 3 to 4 reps in the tank, week 2 you're gonna add 5 pounds on the bar. Week 3 you're gonna build on that only if you recovered properly. So if you're not feeling good, you're sleeping like crap, still train, but just dial it back a bit.
Right, and that's a great lesson to learn earlier on in your training journey is restraint. A lot of setbacks can be mitigated if we just act with a little bit of restraint as opposed to always chasing towards our goals and pushing hard. Knowing when to say, hey, today's an active recovery day or mobility day or a 50% of what I can do day, that moves you far closer to your goals than trying to push through when you're experiencing that.
Yeah, so week 3, if week 3 feels off, still do the same thing, but just dial back. So if week 3 you're gonna add the 3rd variable, I would not add the 3rd variable. I would just repeat week 2, which is gonna be the 2 variables, which is probably the added set and the weights and stuff like that. Starting below your limit is not weakness, it's good strategy.
To his point, strength that you can sustain over time compounds much more quickly versus strength that you push for as much as you can in a short span, which will leave you unable to keep meeting that effort and probably on the sidelines.
All right, guys, so if you're interested in exactly where you are strength-wise, we did create a strength audit, which you could get in the link below.
Yeah, it's 15 questions, pretty straightforward, and it'll give you a good idea of where you are on your fitness journey and also a little bit of strategy about how to move forward.
Yeah, so make sure you like, subscribe, and if you like content like this, make sure you check us out next week.
Until then, everyone, stay strong.